Hey, welcome back. I'm so excited that you stumbled upon this channel and that you want to dive deeper into birth. And today I want to come to you and I want to talk to you about contractions. And in our culture, we really fear birth and contractions. And I want to take today and I want to dismantle the fears and I want to help just prepare you and guide you to maybe think about birth differently. So I like to think about birth as just like this tornado of energy that's kind of happening in your body. So today I want to just really dive deep into what's really happening inside of your body and what happens in your nervous system when you feel a contraction take over. Because I really tell clients it feels kind of like a tornado. It's this intense, all-consuming force that demands every single part of you. And in this episode, we're going to pull back the curtain on just the physiology of birth. We're going to map out the incredible journey your nervous system takes from the hint of a surge to the peak of that very powerful surge, and then understanding that it's not just about knowledge. It's really about working with your body's innate wisdom and not against it. And when we can learn to listen to our bodies, to trust our bodies, I tell my clients all the time, you know what's best for yourself because you can feel it. You know when something's not right because you're living in this body. And so understanding our nervous system and how hormones work can sometimes help us when we're on this journey of birth, just kind of go into it with eyes wide open. So we're going to talk about just this tornado sensation where it kind of starts out as nothing and then it gradually builds to this all-consuming state and then it comes back down again. We're going to talk about the nervous system highway and how your autonomic nervous system works with your sympathetic nervous system, which works with your parasympathetic nervous system, and how all those different states, what they are in labor and how they all work together. And then we're going to talk about fear and safety and how that plays into the birth as well. And I like to tell my clients all the time, fear starts in pregnancy. And if we could learn how in pregnancy not to be scared of the birth experience or the parenthood experience that comes next and kind of build this confidence in themselves, that's my goal for today. And then I'm going to give you some practical tools, some simple evidence-based ways that you can help your nervous system stay in the optimal state for birthing and allowing this tornado to do its transformative work that it needs to do. So let's dive in. You're here because you're curious and maybe even a little bit nervous about what it actually feels like to have a contraction. People say things like waves, surges, and while it's true, it can also feel a lot bigger than that. Now, I like to tell people all the time, I've given birth 3 times unmedicated, and I can tell you from a whole heart, I love giving birth. I love it, love it, love it. It is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, but it taught me so much about myself, and it helped me find this power that is always inside of me, but that I didn't know how to tap into. And when birth opened my eyes to this power that is inside of me, and then it ignited me into parenthood. So what I try to explain to parents is that if we can help you in pregnancy, build your confidence to trust your gut, to listen to your body's wisdom, to follow your intuition, and then we carry that through parenthood and beyond, right? So I digress. But contractions can feel bigger. They can feel like this tornado. It starts, like I said, with this distant energy, and then it builds into something that takes over your entire focus, your body, your thoughts, your breath. It commands everything from you. I tell clients all the time, in early labor, you might be able to pop in and out of these states, but once you hit active labor, you're kind of just like in this zone the whole time, and it doesn't go away until you give birth and are holding your baby, or you get an epidural. That's another piece of it. But if you are unmedicated, you're in that until the end. So With a contraction, it starts as this distant energy, it gets really, really big, and then it starts receding back down, and it leaves you in a moment of this like profound calm. And sometimes clients will even be like crazy in contraction and then snoring asleep again. And then we're gonna just kind of talk about this, like what's happening in our body? How does that work? And to understand this, we're going to really understand the landscape of just how our nervous system works. So specifically, our autonomic nervous system, that's our system that runs on autopilot. So if you think of your sympathetic nervous system as your gas pedal, it's your fight or flight. It's the alertness, it's the focus, it's the action. It's what gets your heart pumping. And in early labor, a little bit of this like sympathetic activation is what actually turns your body's signal on. It's like it's game on time, like let's go. Then there's your sympathetic nervous system. This is your brakes. This is your stop. This is your rest. This is the state of rest and digest. And it's all about relaxation and recovery. And it's critical in birth. And it's really critical in how we feel connected and where we feel safe. This state is where it allows our body to open, to release, to let go of. The dance of birth is rhythmic, beautiful, and sometimes it's an intense shift between two states. This tornado there's nothing that you can compare it to. It's not one or the other. It's this powerful way that these parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous systems all kind of work together to bring about the birth experience in general. So let's think of a single contraction. If we trace the path of a single contraction from a nervous system perspective, there's this buildup phase, and that's our early sympathetic nervous system. It's a hormone that releases in our uterus that tells our uterus to tighten. And then our nervous system will send a message to our spinal cord and brain. And there, in our spinal cord and brain, there's a gathering of energy and a focusing of attention. Then our contractions will kind of change. They'll get to where we're in more of this tornado phase where we get the sympathetic surge and then we get that surrender phase. And this is when the tornado is in its full force. This is when your body might release that sympathetic surge where it's an intense, powerful feeling. But here's the key. For a contraction to be truly effective, this peak requires a simultaneous release and relax of the pelvic floor that is going to be profound for your birth experience. What I often tell clients is that when you're contracting, what we sometimes want to do is kind of brace for impact. And instead of bracing for impact, because when we brace for impact, we get really tight. And what we kind of want to do is more relax and be open and like willing to kind of like let that sensation take over us as much as we can. And I'll give you the tools on how to do this too, so that our bodies can dilate, our bodies can open. And then what's key is after we've had our big peak and then it starts to come down, when we get to that rest phase, to actually rest, to sit in it, to marinate in it, to recharge. That's our place where we actually get to catch our breath. Right? So that's that release. That's the parasympathetic system. That's when that comes in. And that's when that contraction recedes and your parasympathetic will ideally like swoop in. And this is where I've had clients where they'll go from like pushing to snoring the second the contraction ends, right? It's beautiful. This is when your heart rate is going to slow. You get to catch your breath again. Maybe you laugh, maybe you sleep, somewhere in it, but it's your rest phase and it's a non-negotiable for labor. We need to find that rest phase. We need to find that let go. It's critical in integrating what's going to happen for the next birthing wave that's going to come to us. And here's the crazy thing about it, is that our fear and our safety in our delivery room changes the pathway of how we feel and how we interact with contractions. And if you feel safe, supported, then your guard is your like nervous system says, oh, it's safe, all is well, the coast is clear for birth, I can do whatever I need. And then our parasympathetic, when it needs to kick in, when it needs to do that break, it can engage and it can allow the pelvic floor muscles to relax and open during that peak. It does work effectively. But when we are scared, when we are feel fear, when we are stressed, when we feel unsafe, then that guard bell of our nervous system sends an alarm. It says, danger, danger, this isn't good, I don't like this. Your sympathetic system then goes into high alert. It goes into that true fight or flight. This releases hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. And what do? They tell your body to tense up. They tell your body to protect, to take care, right? And what it can literally cause your cervix and your pelvic floor to tighten against the contractions work. And I have had clients tell me that they're like, I feel like I'm holding my baby up. And I'm like, you probably are. And it's normal to feel fear in birth because it's a great unknown. But this is why having a birth team is so important. It's important to be able to vocalize your fears so that we can speak truth over to them and help you and help your nervous system get to a place of calm so that you can get to a place where you can birth your baby. So I just want you to understand that this isn't about you being weak or being strong. This is a hardwired biology that if we can understand how the nervous system works, we can kind of help prepare ourselves when we go into birth and then hopefully have a smoother, better birth experience. So what are some practical tools that you could put into place to help your nervous system? My number one thing is breath. I tell my clients all the time, I don't care how you're breathing, I care that you're breathing. Long, slow exhales are a direct dial to your parasympathetic brake. So when you are in a contraction, if you can work on just breathing, of being calm and having this breathing period, not tensing, not holding it, but just breathing while your body is feeling the crazy, it will help. Like I said, I don't tell my clients to breathe by a certain pattern. I want you to do what feels most natural to you. And this is all about being in your body, in feeling what you need. But what's important is that you're breathing. The other thing is your environment. Dim lights, familiar music, very limited people, you wearing your own clothes. This is gonna reduce different sensory alerts that would kind of get sent to your nervous system that can be triggers for alarm, right? So if a light gets switched on really, really quickly and abruptly, that can kind of send a trigger to our system that, oh, we need to alert, something's going on that we need to pay attention to. And if we can stay out of that part of our system, the better. Another thing is having some sort of anchor or touch. This is really when your partner comes in handy. I try to tell my partners all the time that your physical being there is enough. Pain relief can come in all sorts of different shapes and sizes. And what I know for sure is that if you're in a relationship that's a healthy relationship, that you like your partner, then generally speaking, usually when you are near your partner, it feels good. So having them touch you, even if not rubbing, but a steady touch, a grounding touch on your back or your shoulder or anywhere, somewhere on your body will usually help signal your brain that it's safe, that you're okay. And it tells your body that, hey, your partner is there. You can let go. They're watching out for you. The other thing is vocalization. So I tell my clients all the time that in labor, we are much like a kettle. And just like when a kettle is on the stove and it's getting ready to boil, it starts to whistle. Women are like that in labor too. And when we are getting close to birthing our babies, we start to vocalize. And I like to tell my clients to think of it as a way to release energy from your body. So if it's not vocalization, sometimes it's rhythmic, like it's how you move your body, or it's a tapping of your body. But vocalization, these low, deep moans or hums, they actually vibrate in your body, and they vibrate your vagus nerve, which is the main nerve to your parasympathetic system. So it's a huge biological release, as it's like a humming version of a sigh that you can give to your body that helps release energy, so that when you're contracting, it just feels better when you vocalize and do that releasing. Then there's the mental side of it. I tell my clients all the time, the hardest part of birth is not the physical part of it, it's the mental part of it. It's the reel that gets in your head that just keeps spinning, which is why it's really important to get out of your mind and to get into your body. But the mental reframing of things also helps. So just as I said before, instead of mentally going into that place where we're like, oh no, here's another one, we're like bracing for impact, I want it to be more of like, oh, here's another wave. It's going to be bringing me closer to my baby. And then your partner's words, they matter too. So your partner needs to be in this place too of empowering you, telling you that you're safe, that you're doing it, that they're here for you. And then I always like to remind clients that fear starts long before birth. And I think a lot of times clients spend a lot of time taking all the classes, reading all the books, because they're so scared of like what they're going to go into. And instead of spending all the time getting all the knowledge, I rather clients take that time and come internal and get to know themselves, and to check in with themselves, and to check in with their baby. And one of the things that I like to recommend my clients do is download the Count the Kicks app, and spend time every single day with your baby when you start feeling the movement happen, and spend time with your baby every day where you lay down, you count the kicks, you pay attention to the movements, and you just spend time kind of checking in with yourself and seeing how yourself is doing. How is your body feeling? What is your body asking you to give it? And what is your body saying, no, thank you, I've had enough of this? And paying attention to that. I like to tell people all the time that we need to trust our body's wisdom. Our body often knows what's best for us long before our mind really fully understands what's best for us. And if we can stop and we can pause and we can check in with our body really will guide us and lead us. And we just have to trust it. So I like to remind clients to remember that the tornado isn't our enemy. Yes, it's an intense feeling, but there's an intelligent force of life that is moving through you with it. It's your uterus, the strongest muscle of your entire body, doing the most important work. And when you understand that this force has a pathway, it has a rhythm, it has a purpose, then you have the tools to support your journey. And then you can shift from fearing the storm to riding its power. And girl, the power is crazy cool because it lives in you all the time, and you can tap into it all the time. Your body isn't trying to break you. It's trying to birth your baby. It knows the way, and your job is not to try to control that tornado, but it's to create the most perfect possible, safest space for you to do the work that you were designed to do. I want to tell you that you have this. And my encouragement to you would be to build the team that you can surround yourself with so that they can help you. What I know for sure is that having birth support there makes critical, important areas in your life that can help reduce your cesarean rate by 25%. Having a support person there reduces your use of Pitocin by 31%. It also reduces your use of an epidural by 10%. But having a birth doula or having a support person who can come in and be an advocate for you really does help the environment. And I tell clients all the time, sometimes just my presence makes a difference. They feel safe, they feel supported, they know that I'm watching out for them. And if there's anything that doesn't look right, I'm going to mention it. And if everything is going well, I'm going to encourage them and I'm going to help them along this path. And ultimately, I remind them that they know the answer, that there is no wrong route, that every choice you make in your birth experience is the perfect choice for you and your moment. There are no wrong choices. There are none. However your baby decides to be born is perfect. And friends, I like to remind my clients all the time, you could do everything right and your baby might not come the way that you'd like them to come. And babies ultimately run the show. But if we can understand what's happening in our bodies and we can learn to surrender and we can learn to let go of our expectations and we can understand what's happening in our nervous system and we can understand the way fear has so much that plays into it. And if we could learn how to get rid of that fear in pregnancy and then take care of ourselves in the birth, it will ground us and it will set us up for more positive birth experiences because we don't have that fear laid on us anymore. Because my friends, birth is not something that you need to be afraid of. Birth is something that we as women were designed to do. And unfortunately, our healthcare system has made us believe that we need the system in order to birth our babies. And that's not true. We need women. We need us. We need our belief in ourselves. We need to believe in our abilities and our abilities to birth, our abilities to carry children, our abilities to help sustain them in their life afterwards if we plan on breastfeeding. But ultimately, we need to trust in ourselves so that we can handle this parenting aspect that comes afterwards. Because parenthood is all about trusting your gut and listening to your intuition. And if we're not fostering it at birth, how do we foster it through life? So my friends, I am so excited that you found me. I am so excited that you took the time to watch this video, and I hope that this video has encouraged you. If there's more that you want to hear or questions that you have about your pregnancy or your birth experience, or you want hands-on ideas of how to have a better time or what you're going into, I'd love to talk to you about that. And what I love to remind people is that, controversial as it may be, orgasm and birth run down the same portal. And in order to have an orgasm, women have to go to this place where they shut down all of these fields and they get out of their mind and they get into their body, and you feel how it feels good and you ride that feeling in your body. And birth is much of the same. Birth, we have to get out of our head. We have to let go of the reels. We have to know that we were perfectly designed for this moment and that we have everything inside of us that we need, and we have our support team around us, and that we can just lean in and we can trust and we can surrender to the birth experience, and we can have confidence in our bodies and their abilities. It's beautiful. Birth is absolutely beautiful. Birth is a journey about finding your power. It's about stepping into it. It is a significant time in your life where you enter as one person and you exit as another person. And God willing, you've got a baby to come home to, and that you get to now grow and help in the world for the next however many years that you get blessed with them. So may I be an encouragement to you. And if you have questions, comment below. If you like what you hear, subscribe. And if I connected with you and it resonated, share me. Help other people find out the good news about birth, that you don't have to be scared of it, that there are people out there that love birth and want to speak truth into you. I'm Doula Jenn, and I would love to connect with you.